Hello everyone. In this section we will convert the last application from the previous section to TypeScript. For this I have created this initial application to which I will share the link in the description. It's basically the same application from the previous section, but I just added this new watch command which runs both the OData service and our UI simultaneously, so we don't have to start them separately. Now first let's open our terminal and install our dependencies with npm install. And let's go into the app folder and also install our dependencies for our UI5 app. And to enable TypeScript first, we need to install some dev dependencies for our application. Make sure you are still in the app folder and we say npm install -d, which is short for --save-dev. And first we obviously need the TypeScript package. And we need the UI5 types, so we also need add sap UI5/types package, which will have our types. And then we need this package named UI5-Tooling-transpile, which will give us the custom task and middleware for transpiling our TypeScript code. Let's install these. And next we need to create a TypeScript configuration file at the root directory of our app. So let's create it. And it should be named tsconfig.json. And it will be a JSON object. And first we need to provide some compiler options, which is again an object. And we will start with the target property, which is the target environment for which our code will be compiled. And we will use ES 2023 since it's supported by most of the modern browsers. And next we have the module, and we want to use the module system from ES, so we will set this to ES 2022. An alternative, for example, could be the common.js, but we want the more modern ES modules. And next we have module resolution, which is the resolution mode for our modules, and we have to set this one to node. And next we have skip libcheck, and we will set this one to true, and it will skip checks for the declaration files, those files which end with .d.ts. And next we have the strict mode, and we will set this to true. And this way it will enable the strict type checking options like no implicit any. And we also have strict property initialization, and we will set this one to false, because when enabled it enforces that class properties must be initialized either directly in the declaration or in the class constructor, but we don't want that because we want to be able to declare a variable, let's say let something, and just leave it until we initialize it with some value. And let's see, next we have our root directory, which is root dir, and this will be the root directory of our source files. In our case it's the web app directory. And next we have the base URL, and we will set this one to the root directory of our app folder, which is just the base directory for resolving the non-relative modules, so dependencies. And next we have the types, which is the array of packages that include the type definitions. And remember, we just installed the package for that, which was at sap UI5/types. And next we have a paths object, and we will create our path mappings here. We will have only one, and on the left hand side we will have our namespace for our app. So let's open our component.js file and copy the namespace of our app here. And we need to replace the dots with slashes. And and we will say /star. So everything in this path will be included, and we will map this to an array with a single path, and it will be webapp/star. So what this does is basically it creates an alias mapping for module resolution. So imagine we are inside a file and we want to import something from a module, and let's say we have to go 2 steps up and then into the web app folder and then our module, for example. But using this one, we can simply say import something from, and first our alias here, which is pointing to web app, and then we can simply say /module. So that's all it does. Let's get rid of this. And these would be our compiler options. And lastly, we have another property named include. Again, it's an array of file specifiers, and it will just be the files to be included in the compilation. And we want to compile everything inside our web app folder. So we will contain every file inside the web app folder recursively using this specifier. Now we save, and let's open our UI5 YAML file and add some configuration here. First, we need to add the transpile task to our builder to do the transformation when we are building our application. And we have the server config here, but no builder configuration, so let's add it. We say builder, and we will have some custom tasks. Actually, we will have only one, but it's named custom tasks, and our name will be UI5 Tooling transpile task, and this is coming from the UI5 Tooling transpile package that we installed earlier as a dev dependency. And we need to specify after which task it should run. So we say after task, and it can be after replace version. And we also want to transpile our TypeScript code when we run the development server, and we will also get a middleware from this package. So let's also add a custom middleware here. And the name this time will be UI5 Tooling transpile middleware. And again, we need to specify the after middleware, and we can use compression. Let's copy this one and save. And now let's go to our app controller and convert this to a TypeScript file. It will be very easy because it's basically empty. And first, let's rename it to a TS file. And we have a UI5 module which is importing this controller. So let's convert this first into a module import. So we say import controller from this path. And then what we return here is basically an extension of this controller. And with TypeScript, we will return a class instead. So we say export default class, and let's name it app controller, which will be extending the controller. I have a typo here. And inside we have only one empty function. Let's copy this. And for this one, we can use the shorthand function declaration like this. And we can also add a return type value. Since it won't be returning anything, we can set it to void. And now let's get rid of this old code here. Save. And let's go back to our terminal. Now we need to go back to our root directory since the watch script is there, and we run npm run watch. And we have our app again running here. It's working as usual, no problems. And now let's open our dev console. And if we check the sources tab under controller, we can see our TypeScript file that we just created. and also the transpiled version, the JS version of our file. Let's go back and also build our application and see what happens. I will leave the app running and open a new terminal here. Let's open the app folder and npm run build. And now we see a dist folder, and if we check the controller, for the app controller we have the TypeScript file, we have the mapping file for our TypeScript and JS, and we have the JS file which has been compressed and uglified, and we also have the debug versions which haven't been uglified, and also the mapping file. That would be all for this video, and see you in the next one.